Hey guys, it's Jasmine, your brow expert. Today is the second series of the Brows Eye Shape at the Anastasia Beverly Hills Salon, which, by the way, if you're ever in the neighborhood, you need to come by and get your brows done, or just say hi. And so this brow shape is very unique. It is and it isn't. Well, it's unique because I don't see this a lot, but I do see sometimes where the brow hair grows really down like this side, and the other side of the brow hair grows straight up like a pineapple, right? So what do you do with that? Do you know someone with this eyebrow? Or maybe you have that brow and you need to know, well, how do I shape that? How do I get it even? Well, you could not. You're not going to get it even, but you certainly can do things to make one side look as close like the other side as possible, right? So with this model, you will clearly see how different one side is from the other. And I'm going to also use myself as the model again, so you guys can follow along and see if you can relate with her. And here we go. So I'm going to use a dark brow powder so that way you can visualize the tips I'm giving you. And you guys know that my brows are tattooed, right? It's been tattooed so long ago. So I put some concealer on it, which is why the color is going to go on really dark. But this model is a little bit more natural. So that way you guys probably will relate with this, right? So without further ado, so this model has, as you can see, clearly the front of the eyebrow growing down here and straight up. Now this outline that I'm showing you right here clearly shows you guys how different one side is from the other. Now, it's not just because it grows that way, and maybe it's not just because you over tweeze that way, but her skin actually goes a little curved. So it causes the brow, like right up there, it causes the brow to look a little different than the other side. And that line right in the middle, that frown line, when she makes expressions, it really makes the brows look more uneven than it can be, right? So that's part of the reason why it's so different. Now here, I shaped the eyebrows. Looks pretty good already, right? Doesn't look that much uneven as it did when I first showed you her photograph. Now underneath meaning right here is the most important area. So in just a second, I'm going to show you now. The ash brown is what I'm using on her. You should be able to use more than just one color though, depending on the season. So once I get the color, now remember, this is a dark color here. I'm going to start on this side of the eyebrow, the brow that grows straight up. And I'm going to make an outline first. Always important. And you see that open curve right there? After it was waxed, there is some fuzz in there. So it's going to make it much easier for her to fill them in. So I'm going to make my outline right here, just as I'm showing you on her, going right underneath and going straight down. Pretty easy, right? I'm just following the curve, but not too much. Remember, I want to cut that open kind of round look there. So I'm filling it in. So much easier. Once you make that outline, it's much easier. Now, excuse me because my brows are going to look a little crazy, right? Not as crazy as her, so keep that in mind. Now, it's just, like I said, so much easier to fill it in, and before your very eyes, see how much better it already looks? Pretty good, right? And I'm always going to go a tiny bit on the top just to graze a little bit of color right over here. And I'm also using very light pressure. I don't want heavy application. I don't want the color to go on so dark, and it's much easier for your eyebrow hair, that is, if you're not pressing so hard. More gentle. Okay, so I've gotten that down, and I've just kind of put on the color of the rest of the eyebrow. Pretty good, right? So let's start on the other side. Okay, so again, same deal. Going on underneath, creating that outline, and then right down here, this outline right here, right? Just lowering that, cutting that curve. Now the same thing here. I am filling it in. Again, it's so much easier once you make that outline. And now I'm going up here. Well, first I'm still staying down there. Notice that right there? Right up here, I'm just creating an angle straight line. If you notice from here to here, you see that? Much closer to the other side. Not exactly, but close. And that's what you want to do. You want to get as close as possible. And it looks so much fuller just by raising that up. Because remember, you want to give more love to that side, because this one just lays down so much compared to the other side that you really want to just add that much color up here in the front. That's the most important area. Well, aside from the bottom here. So important area is underneath and up here in this lazy side here, or the curved side. Okay, so I'm just going back and forth as I am doing on her. And notice the pressure, you guys. The pressure that I'm applying on her is really light. You can tell because her skin is not moving. That's important. So that way the application is much more precise. The highlighter is also everything to me. Because if you make some mistakes, which I always do, I don't make it so perfect initially. This really just helps clean everything up, just as I'm showing you guys on her. And the brush is also everything, because this brush really gets it right in there, makes it look so much more polished. So important, right? So this is the time where you guys want to go around and make these little corrections and make it really precise if you want. So I'm just going back and forth right over here. And I'm going, just like I'm showing you on her, going around the corners, softening it up, spreading the color out. And so that way you don't have to use your finger a lot, because you're not going to get it so precise if you do that. You can use the finger to just kind of go around to get the product smooth and moved out. But the brush really helps soften those little angles. See, I'm going around and softening those little angles right there. Okay, so, and you know what? The clear brow gel is everything. I don't have a clear brow gel with me right now, but the clear brow gel will help keep the powder on much longer. That's really important and adds texture to the hair. So it gives it a thicker look as well. So that's pretty good. And notice, you guys going to see in just a second the before and after right here. See, such a big difference. Look at the before on the top and then after on the bottom. Huge difference, I think. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like this series? Do you guys feel like you're getting something out of it? Please let me know. Please subscribe so that way I know if I'm giving you guys the kind of content that you're learning from. Okay, so thank you for your time, and I will see you guys right back here. Thank you.